Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigation 2, Prosecutor's Gambit, where at the end of the last episode, I don't know why I thought that was the end of this chapter, just because it said to be continued, because it's done that a ton of times, and I saved the game, and I'm like, oh, I'm still in episode 3. Okay, that wasn't it. That makes me... I was like, is this going to be like one of those things that just goes on and on throughout the game? Like, is that going to be like the main thing? Okay, anyway, recovering from my mistake.
Miss Bond, are you feeling a little calmer now?
Yes.
No, good, then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law.
Do-over, mulligan, kill the witnesses? Yes, I understand.
Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangarora's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit is really someone else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case.
Yeah, statute of limitations. There's nothing to suggest anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. And right now, there's nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word. There's literally everything that suggests that we should do that. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
The official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gavel.
I mean, especially when frickin' Von Karma's involved.
Especially since there were those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked such a prosecutor. Yeah, apparently you guys overlooked him for a real long frickin' time, man.
That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked. Seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now.
Got her! Ugh! There's something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gross.
How so, exactly?
By continuing to defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs, that's how. What? He didn't bend it? We didn't bend anything! Perhaps it is time you understand how I know. The committee sees this case. Ooh, what? The committee's view. Oh, screw the committee, man. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. That should be the freaking end of it, man. Like, we need to look into this. And so Ms. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Ura convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Okay. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Guster today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
This is how the committee sees things, is it?
It is. As always, I act solely in the service of law and order. What is your deal? Because you suck at this. Like, her last two arguments were pretty good. But man, that first one is kind of a stretch. It sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there'll be no saving Mr. Tangarora or Miss Bound. I mean, there isn't really saving any saving Miss Bound, like, because even if we prove that someone else did it, seems like it's Gusto. Like, she still tried to poison him. I don't know. I'm pretty sure attempted murder is still a crime in this universe. Alright. Committee is willing to accept that. I don't feel like I should press this, but I'm gonna.
If you accept that Miss Von Karma falsified the report, then why don't you reinvestigate the case?
Because the goddess of justice is never wrong. What? Her verdict remains true despite Mr. Von Karma's manipulation. Despite blatant evidence tampering, you sure your precious goddess is into that? I'm with Fender. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. It almost makes you think the committee might have other reasons for not wanting this looked into again. Yeah. Further investigation is simply unnecessary, since the goddess of justice has already spoken.
Is that right? I believe the confession that sealed Mr. Tangarora's fate in the end. The confession secured by Mr. Von Karma, which should surely cast doubt on the final verdict itself.
No, our argument is actually the weak one here. Simpson Tangarora confessed to the initial investigation officer, one Detective Ian Sideman. Official records state that it was his interrogations that led to the conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is the goddess of justice has already spoken. Unbelievable, she just won't budge at all. Are these committee guys really that big of a deal?
In many ways, they're a prosecutor's worst nightmare.
So kind of like how the police are to a great thief, huh? Funny how you don't seem to have a problem working with the police when it suits you, though. I'm gonna believe the real culprit behind the ice evidence is Miss Bound. Yeah, you need actual proof for that.
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tangerora and Miss Bound killed Mr. Frost together?
Why not? You could even imagine they split their roles. Thus, Mr. Tangerora could have been the one to commit the act itself, and Miss Bound was to remove the body. What? But the thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost... You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really surprising that you might be considered a suspect as a result?
Miss Bound has really confessed to all of her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate about what else she might have done in the past.
Very well. Let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present. Crap, that doesn't help us.
Hold it!
Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder?
Why not? Because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have even entered what he thought was a winter wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him, a trap that nearly worked. That doesn't make any sense.
Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains his consciousness. In other words, there's little we can do for now.
On the contrary, there's plenty we can do.
You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. I just need to explain both the ice evidence and the gas attack.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need.
In the matter of the ice evidence, in it we have a body, a murder weapon, and two suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the two chemicals in Miss Bound's confession. And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth, we also have enough evidence to see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee in a formal hearing. Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, don't worry, Miles Sereno. If nothing else, you're always more than welcome at Edgeworth & Co.
Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate it if we could stay focused on the matter at hand.
Of course. Now, where was I?
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all.
Evidence has been examined at length. There's nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Miss Judy Bound.
We're not in a court!
Your Honor, I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined.
A hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now. Assuming there really is anything left, that is.
This isn't over yet, not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to, and it's up to me to point it out to Judge Gavel.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. So is that the... Determine that there's no need to investigate either case further. Alright, I guess it's this one. What do we not know? What don't I know? My prosecutor's patch. Did you know I'm a prosecutor? For now, at least. Sounds like I'm gonna get fired pretty soon. Vendor including his comments in red. What's in red? Tenure limit expired 3 years ago on December 24th. Ah, this is another It's Almost Christmas. I somehow missed that. No detailed autopsy report due to body going missing. Alright, we already know that. None of this helps. Ooh, that's... No... Yes, no, maybe. And we know this. Yeah, so he opened that up to retrieve the body. Alright, we know about that. Okay, frame finger marks. By someone. We don't know who that was. From the I-7 incident, it's a salt lamp stained in frost blood. Okay, hold on. So that's my number 1 so far. Photo of Frost, Gusto, and their sons. Gusto's son visited. Yeah, it doesn't help. What's this? Sugar composition of sugar found in the pale blue liquid in Artie Frost's room 18 years ago. In the fountain water. Ooh, I feel like there's something to that too. What Larry saw, that's always suspect. Teapot. Alright, I'm between... Sugar composition. Salt, sugar, blood. Why was there blood, though? Okay, and then between that and whose fingerprints are these? Or do oh! Didn't we already figure out those are, Felicia's? So yeah, why is there blood? Yep, that was it.
No further still one question concerning the I-7 that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this?
What is it?
There are test results carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the winter.
Oh wait, no, I thought that was this case. Oh my god. Well, not paying attention pays off again. Pro strat right there.
As you can see, traces of blood were
Ah, okay. No, I was right.
The question is whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence.
There's blood in the Gemini case. Alright, I was right to question that. Why did I hear about this from Eustace? Have you met Eustace?
Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly.
No, that is the one. I thought that was from 18... Yeah, that's the one right now. Why are they making it seem like that was the 18 year ago? Alright, whatever. I was right. Blood.
I was planning to tell Mr. Winter about it myself, of course.
Totally. You kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you have done here today.
As ever, my interest is in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end.
That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Guess who's back, losers, and with good news, too. It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive. Gusto! He made it. So, it's only attempted murder, not murder. That's less bad. And plus mitigating circumstances. I mean, couldn't we just call it good behavior? I feel that's not how that's gonna go. You're the ones who found me. Yep, long time no see, Gusto. Wait, you're the attorney's assistant. You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now. Nope. I don't know what that was.
Assistant, no, I'm...
He hasn't got the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son.
The prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth, at your service.
Fate moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you.
No, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago.
What are you talking about? Yeah, we figured out quite a bit while you were out cold, including the fact that you're probably the guy who off poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true?
Miss Bound set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. The trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. And perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent.
No, it's not that. Gumshoe here's a fan of the old meditation. You know, and all that jazz.
Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent.
But there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay. Hey, Gusto, pal. How about you snap out of it and tell us when it went down way back when? I was caught in the girl's trap, so I must be the killer. Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here.
Indeed, you are, Mr. Gusto, and there's no evidence that you have done anything wrong. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed.
At least somebody here seems to be on my side.
Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth.
Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel. You're helping Mr. Gusto will help you hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record.
I believe only in the infallible judgment of the Goddess of Justice.
Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in the court of law. As long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you.
We shall see about that.
What do you advise, Judge Gavel?
It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us?
Understood. I came to see Frost sculpture, as simple as that. Made the mistake with opening times and arrived a half hour early.
Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk around that time?
I left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight, all except for the ottoman, that is.
I see.
She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went.
Seeing into a building's pretty suspicious behavior, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom. I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. The courtroom, you know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto, you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case.
I wanted to see Frost's work up close, so I went up to the Gemini. Sorry, I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. Ooh, you slipped. And I saw the lid was frozen on tight, so I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got to open, gas came pouring out.
Fascinating. His is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of.
Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind. I'm not too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there's no evidence to refute it. Come on, there must be something.
It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing. Yeah, she turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal. So you believe that self-confessed criminal?
Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer.
You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me. Reason to kill him? Yes, you did. I already know that. You have no evidence to prove otherwise.
Can we really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, we have more conjecture than proof.
Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas, that much is indisputable. Yet no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past.
Yeah, but what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do.
You're right, we may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason.
He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it?
Okay.
If he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember?
How can you possibly say that with any certainty if their relationship had broken down for some reason? There we go! That could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Yep.
Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge.
Yes, I think you might be right.
We need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered. The finger marks, were you the one wearing the gloves? Yeah. Miss Gunn denied the finger marks on the frame were hers. Oh, that's right! Ah! Ooh, that could have been bad. But what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the Ultimate Cookbook for himself. The Ultimate Cookbook all along. Okay. So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. More film had been used up than Tangaroa expected. Did someone else use the camera? Oh! Okay. Alright, let me see if I can have this piece together now. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna have to do this in a second, but just to give my thoughts. So he killed Frost because Frost didn't help him. After he helped Frost. Realizing he wasn't going to win the contest now, he took the camera and took pictures of the book, and now he has the photos. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way. My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence is the only way to the truth. And here we go. Yeah. Gusto helped Frost in the final, but the favor was returned. There we go. There's our motive. Got that.
Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not?
Huh. So you knew my little secret.
Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs while you were in charge of the flavor, is that correct?
What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner.
But you only collaborated up through the semifinals. Something changed after that.
Both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangaroa.
Objection!
Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final?
What grounds you have to say that?
Your own statement made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final.
Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? Yep. I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead.
So why did Mr. Frost help you in return? They submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis for your motive for murder.
Is that how it was?
What else you got?
Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay.
And besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? Couldn't have killed the man while Tangaroa was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I?
Gusto couldn't have killed Frost with Tangaroa in the room.
You see, it can't have been me.
I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaroa wasn't in his room. And if I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. Oh. Alright. We'll pause it here. I feel like we've got to be at the end. Maybe we'll get through this in the next episode. Maybe. I feel like this has been going on a while, but I really like this case. Really interesting. I feel terrible for Judy and for Samson. Dang. What a story. This is really good. I hope you're liking it as much as I am. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.